Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bear Fitness. I'm your host, Laura Williamson, personal trainer, Pilates instructor, health coach extraordinaire. Yeah, all those things. It's good to see you again. Welcome back. Guess what? We got a guest. I'm so excited. Okay, this is Heather. Say hi to Heather. Hi, Heather. Okay, Heather's here. She is our very, very, very first official guest here at Bear Fitness. So we're going to do a pretty exciting show today. So stick around. Please do not leave. But before we get started, we got house rules before we start. Please remember to get permission from your doctor before you do any of the workouts or anything that we discuss here today. Don't just jump in. Think about it first. Make sure it's okay. And then from there, go from there. Okay? But at any rate, Heather is here with us, Heather Carroll. And hi, Heather.
Hi.
Welcome today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy to have you here today. This is
to
exciting. You're our first person. Okay, all right. At any rate, so Heather's going to tell us all about herself and what she does today, and I'm going to let her tell you about what we're going to talk about today, what today's show is about. So Heather, please, what are we talking about today? What's going on?
We are talking about the breath and breath work and how breath relates into your everyday life, into your fitness as well. I am a somatic breath and intuitive movement coach, a holistic personal trainer, and yoga instructor. And believe it or not, the way you breathe makes such a huge difference in everything you do in your everyday life, right down to your posture.
Okay. So, Heather, you got to know that was a mouthful, right? That was a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. So I want to break it all down. I want them to understand what it means and how much you're bringing to them, how much you can help them. So we're going to start with this. We started with what do you do? But let's also talk about you. How did you get started?
I got started in this field. I come from a dance background. I have my bachelor's in dance. I taught dance for years and years and years. And after my second daughter, I had a second C-section. I had a ton of issues. And it took me a while to get moving again. And when I did, I was at the front desk of a gym just as like a job for then. And my darling sister spilled the beans that I could teach, and that I knew how to teach yoga and I knew how to teach Pilates. So somebody got stuck in traffic one day and upstairs I went and never looked back. I went on, instead of teaching children, I decided teaching their moms would be great because it filters down generation to generation and to make that ripple wave impact. So I got into personal training and Group X class, and from there, with more yoga certifications, really discovering the breath. And after an experience, a spiritual experience in October, it was kind of like my big swift kick in the butt, like, okay, it's time to teach this. So I started to teach the somatic breath and intuitive movement, as well as continuing as a personal trainer.
Okay, so how many years have you been doing this?
Altogether, since 6 years now.
6 years?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So basically, everything's been moving you in this direction, if I'm understanding you correctly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, all right, there's so many different directions I can go here. It's just a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but I want to get what's important for what people need to know so that they can get the help that they need, whatever the case may be, right? So how does it all work? You have intuitive movement, you move your body, you're used to moving your body. I would assume you're definitely very connected to your body,
Yeah.
whereas a lot of people are not. And that's not a bad thing, and that's not meant to be negative,
Right.
but we move quite often, a lot of us do, but we aren't necessarily connected
not.
or in tune
Yeah.
to
No.
what's going on. Okay, so how do I start? Where does one begin? And what would bring someone to you in the first place? How does that work?
It can happen in a couple of different ways. Some people come for the breath work because they know that they have been through years of therapy, they have had some either trauma in their life, or they just know that there is physical pain that is not being released through anything else. And this can help to release the pain. Our body is one big memory cell. So something that happened to you when you were 7 can remain in your cellular makeup in your body. And the only way to reach it and change that is through the breath. You can do all the mindset work in the world that you want to do, but that's not changing your body's cells. So with the breath and the amount of oxygen that you bring in, it can actually relax the body enough that the oxygen can do its job and help release those things out of the body.
Okay, so now I've always believed in, and I believe only because of my own personal training background, I understand that the brain is plastic, right? And that the cells make up the brain, and that if we want to be positive, we can change that. If we are negative, then again, that's part of the cellular makeup. But how do we get these guys to understand what that all means? Because for us, this is something we do every day.
Right.
So it makes sense. But on a cellular level, it's like, well, what do you mean? Like, so how do I change that? Like, it's in my cells, like the pain I went through, or my thought process, my negative thoughts, my positive thoughts, my cells hold that. Like, how does that work?
It exactly like that. So you have, I like to call it your little dinosaur brain in the back of your head. And that's the one that says, I am going to keep you safe no matter what.
Right.
And then you have that feeling that happens right in the center of your body when this is telling you yes and this is telling you no, and you'd rather listen to this because it sounds better. But then you realize later on that the no is what was meant, or maybe it's the other way around, and this is no and then this is yes, and now you're regretting not taking an opportunity or a chance or whatever it may be. When you can connect your breath into your body, you're bypassing the mind. And with a lot of people, we start by counting the breath.
Okay.
In order to give their brain something to do, so that it's not. A friend of mine described it. I used to say, write your thoughts on a white fluffy cloud and let them float away. And she described it as a train one day to me. And behind that train are these beautiful mountains, and there's a beautiful lake. And you're standing and you're watching this train, and those trains, each car has a different thought on it. And you've got the option to hop on that crazy train or to let it move out of the way so you can see the mountains and the lake. So I would choose to see the mountains and the lake. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes I want to get on the crazy train. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
But getting past that, and like I said, sometimes it takes counting the breaths to start. Breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4, and literally counting it before you learn how to breathe. And we teach relaxation breaths first because in this day and age, we're stuck like this. We're constantly on the go. You're running one child here, the other one here, going back to pick this one up, going back to pick this one up, got to get home, cook dinner, get them tubbed in bed.
It's a lot.
Right. So when we can breathe and learn to relax the body, it produces better sleep. So there's breaths you can do just as relaxation before sleep. And then when you start to come in for a practice, we start by counting. And eventually they find, I don't need to count anymore. And we get into a few deeper breaths that give you a little bit of a tingly feeling, and that's when the oxygen starts to be able to get into the body. And you become more connected with the way your body moves that way. When we talk about the intuitive movement, I always have them start with what I call home. And I'm only here as a guide. Everybody's movement is going to be different. I give my version and let them go.
Okay, so for those who are listening to you and they're just like, what do you, guide, intuitive, like, I go to the doctor, I get my prescription filled, I see my doctor, and we've talked about this, we've had this conversation, right? You know, and the answer has been for a long time, go see your doctor, get a prescription, get a diagnosis, go home, right? And that doesn't mean we don't go to I go to doctors. You guys, you know me. I've talked about this, and you're very familiar with my back issues. You're very familiar with the knee, and you're very familiar with all of these things. So this is not meant to negate
No, not
going
in any
to a
way.
hospital and working with a doctor.
No, not in any way, shape, or form. But you do have the ability through your breath to heal things within your body that are causing physical pain. It's energy that's literally stuck there. In the same way that people think about yoga and moving the energy through the body, or Kundalini and the snake that rises up from the base of your spine, moving that energy. And when we can get in through the breath to those stuck, stagnant parts in the body, you find that all of a sudden pain can release.
So who does this type of work? Who does this type of breath work? Who do you work with? Can anyone do it?
Yes,
Okay.
anybody can do it. There are some contraindications, usually with breath holds. People who have heart conditions, AFib, or any sort of high or low blood pressure. Sorry, it was a mouthful. They don't do breath holds, because when you breathe in and hold at the top, it actually speeds your heart up. So it's not good for, that's a contraindication.
Okay.
When you breathe out and hold at the bottom, people with a low blood pressure, it's not something for them to do.
Okay.
High blood pressure, that actually helps with, because it lowers your heart rate and it slows the body down.
Okay. Is there an age range that you work with?
No, I have had clients who, most of my clients have started at about 24, 25, and all the way up into their 70s. So.
Okay. All right. So this is fascinating. Now to delve a little deeper, all of a sudden I have an accent. I don't know where it came from. At any rate. Okay. Anywho, chakras. Let's talk about chakras.
Okay.
Okay. Now, tell us about chakras. You mentioned that we talked, because again, we've been talking quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So please, I think this is an awesome opportunity for people just to have a better understanding of everything besides the pictures and the symbolisms and the.
Right.
So please explain this. How do chakras fit in? What are they?
Chakras are energy centers within your body.
Okay.
So we go with 7 of them. There are others, but they're outside of your body. They're your aura. So we'll stick with the 7 within the body in everyday terms.
Okay.
So your root chakra is right at the base of your spine. We go with it's the color red, and it is for security, stability. Confidence can come from there. And with that, I always tell people, think of your legs like tree trunks, and your feet can grow roots down into the earth and spread out wide like a tree. And when you can think of that stability, your legs they carry you around everywhere. Your feet, all those tiny little bones and muscles, It's all part of that base chakra.
Okay.
The next chakra up would be your sacral chakra. So right around your hip girdle. It's the color orange. And it brings in your water element. So the root would be earth, sacral would be water. And with that comes your creativity, your sexuality, your sensuality. All of that creative, excited space is in that sacral chakra. Your next one is your solar plexus, which is bright yellow like the sun. And in that solar plexus, we can hold a lot. It's our emotional center. So when you've got an upset stomach, it's all right there. And usually it's emotion based and, fear. I'm so used to facing people as I talk about this. Fear is on your left side of the body. Anger and resentment can be on the right. So fear of the future, anger and resentment about the past, and we hold it all right there. So being able to release that, your heart chakra, and people can feel this in the front or the back. It includes your shoulders and your arms and your hands. Think of hugging people. That heart chakra, love, light, also part of your confidence, being able to be yourself, love yourself. Your throat includes your ears. And it always reminds me of hear no evil, speak no evil.
I actually have that in my studio. I have 3 little, but that's neither.
Right. So it's being able to listen and truly listen and being able to voice your authentic self without fear of judgment. So, and that whole realm of communication, and I always call this the bottleneck, because things literally get stuck. Right? It's the longest distance between our head and our heart. Your third eye, indigo in color, your throat's blue, indigo in color, and that's your intuition. And a lot of times I tell people, if you're looking out at a horizon, where are you headed? What does it tell you? Where do you want to go? Because that's going to tell you exactly where you're going. And then the crown of your head opens up like a big lotus flower. It is usually violet or white in color. It can have gold in it, and that opens you up to something greater than yourself. And having that energetic connection with everybody around you, with all plants, animals, things. So when energy gets stuck in the body, you can kind of tell which chakra may be blocked. So if you're feeling it in the stomach, and don't forget it includes the back side of the body too. So maybe it's a middle back problem, but it could be an emotional issue that's just lodged completely in your body.
I feel like a lot of people are going to be calling you after today. That's what I think. I mean, that's me. But, because I'm sure a lot of people are just like, oh, I've had that for years. Like, I just thought that was indigestion, or I need to take my, I need to. And again, this is not meant to go against whatever your doctor is prescribing for you. That's simply not what we're saying. It's just about having different tools available to you to take care of yourself, if you will. That's really what it's about. Looking at the bigger picture and know that there's so much more to you than just what you see, I think.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm understanding you and I'm interpreting in a way that makes sense. Now, okay, so how does that fit with what you do? You help people release some of that? Is that okay? All right. I'm with you. I'm sure.
I guide in the breath work, and I go energetically by what I feel from the person. So it's not it's not like personal training where we plan a session.
Right.
It's whatever energy walks into the room that day.
Right.
And from there, I go with different breaths for different things. Sometimes it's just connecting back into the body. And it's just connection breath that they need. And once they get in there, then they'll talk a little bit, something will pop up, and we'll move to another breath to see if we can get a little deeper into that area. And sometimes it's that they need to stand up and move a little bit. And when they can move the energy, it releases.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So why can't they do that on their own?
You can, but having somebody to, once you get to know the different breaths, you are fully able to give yourself a breathwork session. But you won't. Because that dinosaur brain's gonna go, nope, I got something else to do. I don't wanna get in there right now. And coming from somebody who instructs for this, I find myself doing it. And I go, oh, I need to call my coach because I need to be guided through right now. And to have somebody who can guide through the breath work and then into a meditation and then into movement and combining these different pieces.
I've been told a couple of times by people, you know what, I don't want to think about it.
Right.
And then there's accountability. So I know if I go, someone else is going to take care of me, 1. And I don't have to think about it, 2. And 3, all I have to do is show up. I have enough to worry about and think about and consider. This is the one place or one thing that I do that I don't have to worry about all that. So there's de-stress and just showing up, I think, for people too.
Absolutely. And they know that when they come in that they're going to be able to come down.
Yeah.
It gives them an hour to just literally be.
So how does the intuitive movement work? I mean, we're going to do some stuff. Guys, if you want to stay around for this, I mean, we're chatting about this now, but I always like to do a movement part of the show when I do it. But we're gonna do some stuff together and see what that looks like. I'm gonna throw it out there. So Heather and I have never worked like this together before. So I don't know what you're gonna get today. So I'm putting it all out there today. So, it is what it is. But, I think that what Heather does is just extremely beneficial. And when we initially met, I thought to myself, I think I asked you right away,
did.
would you do my show with me? And so I didn't hide it. So I was just, So all that being said, I believe that. And I think this is going to be worthwhile. As you know, I try to be about your best interest. And I think this is going to be beneficial. And I think that a lot of people are looking for answers right now.
Yeah.
And ways to manage and deal with things.
Yep.
And I believe that this is one way, one of many ways that we can help.
Yep.
So I myself am on my own journey, truth be told. So as I go, I'm trying to pull people with me, like, okay, share, give me what you got. And so I'm bringing it to you. And that's what we're doing today. When we talked also, you said something to me because I asked, what else would you like everyone to know about what it is that you do? And one thing you said to me, and I'm going to say this, and forgive me, guys, I'm going to try to say it or give it back to you the way that it was given to me. No matter what's going on in your life, you have everything you need to move through it, right? It's inside of you.
It's inside of you.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's what you told me, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'll let you expand or expound on that particular idea.
You have the strength inside of you that you need to get through anything. And sometimes it's hard to tap into, but it's there. You have the wherewithal you have the drive, you have the flow, you have both the masculine and feminine sides of your body. And when they work together, you have absolutely everything you need. I believe you have your higher self, your inner children, and your physical body. And I say inner children because there's a whole bunch of them down there. Different ages, different stages.
I keep hearing about these inner children, and they seem to be wreaking all kinds of havoc. They're doing all kinds of things, and we don't realize it half the time.
Right, but they also allow you to play. And play is very important, as we'll find out.
Okay, guys, get ready. All right. So, how can everyone find you? How can they get in touch with you?
I am at Holistic Life Community in Wakefield at 599 North Ave, number 6.
All right.
Email info@holisticlifecommunity.com. You can find us online and check out the events page because it's not just me there. There are 20 partners who all do different things, and maybe breathwork isn't for you, but one of these other things calls to you. And that can definitely happen. And if you talk to me and we find out breathwork is not for you, I'm going to have somebody to direct you to who can help you. And I am online on Facebook, Instagram, under A Balanced Life Training, which is my personal company.
Okay. All right. So all that information, guys, is going to be here on the screen. It's going to be available to you, for you, so you can reach out, get in touch with Heather. And if you need anything from me, I'm always here for you. But we're going to take a little break, but I ask that you stick around and see what things look like. What's going to be intuitive for this body, I have no idea. But let's see how everything works out. It's always cool and fun to have you here. Thank you for being here with us today. Again, Heather, thank you so much. Thank you.
I was so honored to be asked.
I mean, I appreciate you. But Heather's not going anywhere. She's still going to be here because we're going to do some moving, okay? Let's take a break. I'll see you soon. And stick around.